Hello, dear students. In this lesson, you're going to learn about forces and pressure around us. It is the physics syllabus of the grade 8. But for this part, you're going to talk only about forces. So these are the topics that you're going to learn in this part. We're going to study examples of forces, force of gravity, frictional force, and magnetic force. We'll also study a force is a push or a pull, and it can be measured in newtons. We will also look at the effect of forces on the size, shape, and motion of objects. We are going to see how the weight is the effect of gravity on a body, which gives weight is equal to mass times acceleration due to gravity, that is W is equal to mg. And finally, how a force can be measured using a Newton meter or a spring balance. Now, let us see some of the examples of forces in our everyday life. As you can see, in the first picture, a man is pushing a car. In the second one, the person is lifting the dumbbells. In the third one, the person is bending a ruler. In the fourth picture, we can see a person opening a door. In the fifth one, you can see a boy tying his lace. And in the last picture, you can see some ladies rowing a boat. These are all examples of forces in our everyday life. So, what is a force? See, a force is a push or a pull. In this picture, we can see three persons pushing a car. In the next picture, we can see some people pulling on the rope on the two sides. The SI unit of force is the Newton, named after one very famous scientist, Sir Isaac Newton. Force is measured using a Newton meter or a spring balance, as shown in the last diagram. So let us see some examples of forces. We have force of gravity, force of friction, and magnetic force. So what is the force of gravity? The force of gravity is the force which attracts all objects towards the earth. In this picture, we can see the apple falling towards the earth. In the next picture, we can see the man jumping towards the water and finally falling to the water. In this picture, we can see a plane that is landing towards the earth. The force of gravity is a non-contact force. The force is exerted whether the object touches the earth or not. The force of gravity causes a body to have a weight, which we are going to learn about later. So, what is the weight of a body? We know that the weight of an object is the force of gravity acting on the object. The unit of weight is same as that of a force, that is Newton. We can get the weight of a body by multiplying the mass in kilograms and the acceleration due to gravity, which is 10 meters per second squared. So we get W is equal to mg. For example, if a stone has a mass of 5 kilograms, then its weight is going to be W is equal to mg, which gives 5 kilograms times 10 meters per second squared, which is 50 newtons. So this is how we can obtain the weight of a body when we know its mass. The next type of force is the force of friction. Friction is something that opposes motion. As you can see in the picture, when the object is being pulled to the left hand side, the force of friction is in the right hand side, while when the pull is on the right hand side, the force of friction is on the left hand side. So friction always opposes motion. The force of friction is a contact force. For example, the wheels of the bike touch the soil. That is, they are in contact. In this case, the air resistance, which is friction due to air, it slows down the parachute for a safe landing. So again, the air resistance opposes the motion of the parachute. Now let us see what are the advantages of friction. Friction gives a good grip. The tires do not slip on the road. Friction also allows us to have a good grip on the pen for writing. Friction allows us to walk, to run, to climb stairs, or even climb mountains without slipping. Friction allows us to cut a bread, to peel fruits, or even tighten a wheel, as you can see in the diagram. But friction, does it have only advantages? It has some disadvantages. Let us see. Friction produces wear and tear. Worn out tires have to be replaced. Friction also produces heat in an engine. So a fan is used to prevent overheating. Friction produces sound, like the sound produced by a bus when it brakes. Furthermore, if the person stops cycling, we say that she is going to slow down because of air resistance. So here we have some of the disadvantages of friction. Now let us see what are magnets. A magnet has the property of attracting objects made of iron or steel. For example, this magnet attracts some pins made of steel. Even the pencil case has a magnetic catch to open and close it. You must have seen that. A freely suspended magnet aligns itself in the north-south direction. Even a freely pivoted magnet aligns itself in the north-south direction, similar to a compass. Let us see what is a magnetic force. A magnetic force is a non-contact force. As you can see in the diagram, the magnets do not touch each other for the force to be exerted. Simple experiments show that like poles repel and unlike poles attract. For example, if the North Pole is kept close to the South Pole, there will be attraction. Whereas if the two South Poles are kept near to each other, they will repel each other. Or even if the two North Poles are kept near to each other, they will repel each other. This is also known as the law of magnetism. Now, what is a magnetic compass? As you can see from the top view, the compass contains a magnetic needle. The pointer is pivoted at the center and rotates horizontally. It aligns itself in the north-south direction, and therefore it can give the direction. This is why it is used for navigation. So far we have seen force of gravity, force of friction, and magnetic force. Now let us find out what are the effects of forces on a body. So a force can make a body move. The striker applies a force on kicking the ball. It causes the ball to move. When the goalkeeper applies a force in the opposite direction, the ball is stopped. So a force can also stop a moving body. Now, when the player applies a force to pass the ball to someone else, this force changes the direction of the ball. The lady is pushing the child on the swing, and the child goes faster. So these are the effects of forces on the body. The force can make a body move. It can cause a body to stop. It can produce change in direction, or it can make it move faster. Now, does a force produce only change in the motion of a body? Not necessarily. Consider stretching the rubber band. When we stretch a rubber band, it becomes longer and thinner. So its size is changed due to the forces applied on it. Now consider the metal rod. What happened to it? It was bent by the forces applied to it. So we can say that forces can also change the size and shape of objects apart from influencing the motion of a body. We have just studied about weight of a body. It is actually a force acting on a body due to the force of gravity. But what about mass? Are mass and weight the same? Let us find out. This instrument is a beam balance, whereas this one is a spring balance. But they don't measure the same thing. The beam balance measures the mass of a body, whereas the spring balance measures the weight of a body. So mass and weight are different. Let us see what are the other differences. The mass of a body is measured in kilograms, whereas the weight is measured in newtons. The mass of a body is measured using a beam balance, whereas the weight of a body is measured using a Newton meter or a spring balance. Mass is the amount of matter found in a body, whereas the weight is the force of gravity acting on the body. We also know that the mass remains constant, whereas the weight may vary at different locations, such as on different planets. So mass and weight are two different things. We have reached the end of this presentation. Before that, let us summarize what are the different things you have learned in this presentation. We have seen that a force is a push or a pull. A contact force is exerted when two bodies touch each other. Force of friction is a contact force. A non-contact force is exerted when two bodies do not touch each other. Force of gravity and magnetic force or non-contact forces. A force can move a body, stop a moving body, change the direction of a body, cause a body to move faster, change the size of a body, and change the shape of a body. Finally, we have seen that mass and weight are two different things, though they are related. Thank you for your attention. We are going to meet in the part 2 of this presentation.